I came across a video on TikTok, and this young lady who's very, very sincere and devout in her faith, and that is almost every video she makes. And she was talking about how it occurred to her that God meets men in the wilderness and he meets the women at home. That men find peace in the wilderness, which is true. And somebody commented, she read the comment, and it struck a chord with her. And she said, yeah, she said, women are so busy doing their day-to-day duties at home that they don't have time to go to the wilderness. So therefore, God comes to them where they're at. So there is some truth to that, but there's also not truth. So God meets men in the wilderness, and he meets men on the job just doing their thing. He found his disciples on the job doing their duties. He found the Ethiopian Enoch on the road home doing his duties. He found Mary Magdalene, found him. The lady that had the issue of blood found him. But he also went to the Samaritan woman. So, yeah, he'll go to you where you're at. You just got to want to find him. It's got to be a very heartfelt desire, very clear, very pure, that you want to meet him, that you want to be found, that you want to follow him. And he'll find you. That's all there is to it. There's not a magic formula. Men, you don't have to be out in the wilderness. You don't have to get on a boat and get out where you can't see it and get in a storm if you think you're going to die for God to meet you. You don't have to climb a deer stand for God to meet you. Now, if that's where you find peace, that's where you feel the closest, and that's where you get some of your best time of prayer and reflection, then by all means do it. But if you're someone born and raised in the city or a good-sized town, and you're just not a person that likes to get out in the wilderness, you don't have to go out there to meet him. He'll meet you where you're at. That's why they have things called prayer closets. A closet or a room in your house where you go and you get secluded and you pray. That's the whole purpose of Jesus leaving people and going off into the wilderness or into the garden to pray. It was secluded. He was left alone so he could concentrate on what the Father was saying. See, that's the key for us. And the busier our life gets, the harder it is for us to do that. So if we want to be met where we're at, not only do we have to pursue him in spirit and in mind, but we also have to be willing and receptive and have a pure desire. See, how do you think he meets people in prison? Or how do you think he meets the addict that is in the process of ODing? Those people aren't pursuing him. But they had this moment of clarity where like, oh man, I need something different. And they cry out to God, and he meets them where they're at. So, yes, there is truth that he'll meet men in the wilderness. He'll meet women in the wilderness. He'll meet men at home. He'll meet women at home. He'll meet men and women on the job. He'll meet you in the hospital. He'll meet you in prison. He'll meet you on the beach. He'll meet you in your prayer closet. He'll meet you wherever you're at. It's not complicated, guys. That's all there is to it. So yeah, sometimes these things sound good. And men are created to pursue, to seek, to hunt, to provide. And typically men do find more peace in the wilderness. But women find peace in the wilderness too. But men, we need to lead our homes and our families. And we cannot do that if we are not seeking, if we are not hunting, if we are not pursuing the Lord. And women, you'll never have peace if you only rely on your husband to do it for you. Well, you got to do it yourself. Right? A relationship tip. If you and your spouse are focused on the Lord and you're seeking him, that's a fixed point. That will draw you closer together. If you are fixated on your spouse and your spouse is fixated on the Lord, you're not going to draw closer together. You'll never be fulfilled. You'll never be happy. You'll never be content. You'll never be at peace on your own. And you'll rely on your spouse to be your peace. And that's a burden that a mere human cannot carry. So seek the Lord yourself. Pursue him yourself. Make the time every day to do it. Prayer, reading the Word, meditating on it, journaling on it, fasting, serving the Lord. All the things we're told to do in the New Testament. You'll find them. And he'll meet you where you're at. and He'll meet you where you need to. With that, be safe, keep the faith.